It was a dark, stormy night when we heard the news. The beautiful woman who once had everything was found dead in a small, unmaintained hut, miles away from the life of luxury she had abandoned. Once upon a time in a small village in Aku, there was a young man named Juma. His father, Olisa, was the richest man in the village. Olisa owned vast lands, herds of cattle, and many houses. Everyone respected Olisa, and because of this, Juma was known and respected too. Juma had a beautiful girlfriend named Amara. She was the most beautiful girl in the village with her long, dark hair and bright, sparkling eyes. Juma loved Amara deeply, and soon they got married. They were very happy together and had 3 boys who brought joy and laughter to their home. Olisa, who loved Juma dearly, was proud of his family. He often said, "Juma, you will inherit all my wealth. Take care of it and your family." Life was good, and they lived happily, enjoying the fruits of Olisa's labor. But one day, Olisa fell very ill. Despite the best efforts of the village healers, Olisa's health continued to decline. The whole village prayed for Olisa, but their prayers went unanswered. Olisa passed away, leaving all his wealth to Juma. Juma, now the richest man in the village, took over his father's wealth. He managed the lands, cattle, and houses just as Olisa had done. Juma and Amara continued to live happily, raising their 3 boys into fine young men. Years passed, and one fateful day, Juma fell ill. His illness was severe, and no healer in the village could cure him. Amara, determined to save her husband, spent a lot of money on medicines and treatments. She brought in the best healers from far and wide, but nothing seemed to help. As the days went by, Juma's condition worsened. Amara was desperate. She loved Juma and couldn't bear to see him suffer. She spent all their money, and soon they were nearly broke. She sold everything they had, the lands, the cattle, and the houses. She even sold their cherished belongings. But Juma's health did not improve. One day, Amara made a decision that shocked everyone. She took the remaining money and left the village. She abandoned her sick husband and their 3 boys, who were now almost grown men. She went far away, hoping to start a new life. In the new place, Amara met a man who seemed kind and loving. He promised her a life of comfort and happiness. Amara, believing she had found love again, trusted him completely. But the man was not who he appeared to be. He was a deceiver, and he took all Amara's money and disappeared. Amara was left alone and penniless. To make matters worse, she fell ill, just as Juma had. She had no money to seek treatment, and she regretted abandoning her family. She longed to see her children and Juma, but she was too weak to go back. Meanwhile, back in the village, Juma's 3 sons had grown into strong, hardworking men. They loved their father dearly and took care of him. Despite their struggles, they managed to make money and rebuild their lives. They became known as the Adorable 3 because of their good looks and hard work. They were well liked and respected in the village, just as their grandfather Olisa had been. But Juma's illness did not go away. He suffered greatly, and eventually, he passed away. The village mourned the loss of a good man who had once been their richest and most respected member. Juma's sons, devastated by the loss of their father, decided to search for their mother. They traveled far and wide, hoping to find her and bring her back home. But no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't find her. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Amara, alone and suffering from her illness, wandered from place to place. She asked about her sons, but no one knew their whereabouts. Her health continued to decline, and she died alone in a small hut, far from the village where she had once been so happy. When Juma's sons by chance heard of their mother's death, which went so viral, they were heartbroken. Despite everything, they had hoped to find her and reunite their family. They returned to the village and gave their father a rich burial, honoring him as the great man he was. The Adorable 3 continued to live in the village, working hard and making a name for themselves. They rebuilt their wealth and were respected just as their father and grandfather had been. They never forgot their parents, and they often told the story of their family to their children, ensuring that the legacy of Juma, Amora, and Olisa would live on. And so, the story of the wealthy, adorable three became a legend in the village. They were known not only for their wealth but also for their hard work, resilience, and the love they had for their family. Despite the hardships they faced, they lived happily, honoring the memory of their parents and the legacy of their grandfather, Olisa.